Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Veil. I am Adina. So glad to meet you. Come on in. I'll wait for you guys to start arriving. Please let me know how your Monday is going when you get in. And then we'll begin the shenanigans once you guys get in here. I know YouTube usually takes a little minute to set off the alarms and the alerts, so please forgive my delay. I'm just trying not to do too much until people get in so I don't have to repeat myself. Hello, gang boy, Mohan Orhan. Happy Monday. How are you guys? How you guys doing this Monday? Day of the moon. Good. Hmm. I don't quite know if I know what that says, Mohan. I don't know if I speak what that language is. My apologies. Okay. It looks to me like no one knows that I'm live yet. Very, very, very strange indeed. It's my usual time. I don't really see anyone in here. So I don't know. Is anyone in here? Please just say something so I'll know that I can begin. You sub, Game Boy? Okay. Hi, Varna. How are you this Monday? Thank you, Game Boy. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. This topic that we're going to be talking about today was actually a subscriber's request, and I was hoping that my subscriber would be in here to see this topic, but Angel, you will catch on when you do catch on. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm just going to go ahead and begin. So, as I mentioned, greetings to you all this Monday, this day of the moon. I am Adina. You guys are now beyond the veil. And I had a subscriber request, and they emailed me and asked me what my thoughts were about the theory that outer space is really under space, under the sea. And I promised her that I would not give my opinion, my personal opinion, but I would investigate the situation the way I do, which is why we're here today. With that being said, I'm going to cleanse my hands and then we're just going to begin. Hey JD, I was hoping one of my OG Busted babies would come in here because everybody in here is not a familiar face. And so I was wondering if you guys even knew that I was live. Hi, Nikki. Yes, Game Boy. So I thought it was a really good topic. You're almost home, JD. Good. How was your Monday? I thought it was a really good topic. It is a conspiracy and a debate amongst many. I've heard it many a times, many debates about whether you reach outer space from going underneath the waters. Now, I will say that I have seen something along that line investigating other situations. For instance, when I did the video on the space trip with Gayle King, Katy Perry, and all of those ladies, I think it came up in that video. And also, I think it was Memorial Day weekend. I told you guys about seeing a rocket launch because I live in Florida, in Central Florida, seeing a rocket launch, and I was wondering if that launch was um, scheduled because at Kennedy Space Center they're supposed to announce any scheduled launches they have. So I wanted to come. It came up there too. So I will not say that there's absolutely no sense, no grounds in that theory. I can't say that even from my perspective. But now we're just going to tackle the situation head on. So I've thought to start with the oracles. Shall I? Most High, Mother and Father God, thank you for these people. Thank you for their beautiful, brilliant minds, so full of curiosities, inquiries, wonderings, and desires to know and become wise. And since I believe we live in an age where there is no information withheld from us any longer, here we are, seeking and seekers. Please light the path before us on the matter at hand. To get out of the universe, out of this earth sphere, is there a way to do that from the skies, from space, or is it required to go underneath the sea to get out of this earth atmosphere? Currently, it is believed that we do so by launching out of space. Let's see what the oracles have to say first, and then we'll take a gander beyond. A new romantic cycle begins tells me that humans have not been able to properly evolve because we have not been able to synthesize all of the information that we have been given over time. It's like, why is it still a mystery? Why do we still have certain mysteries? That is the greater mystery. Why is so much about the universe and about humanity still a mystery? Allegedly, still a mystery. Hello, sunshine. What a pleasant surprise to see you here. I don't know if I ever saw you before, but you just came in here with all of this sunshine, and I so appreciate it. Bless you. Hey, Miss Thompson. How was your Monday, everybody who just joined? Just smile. What? I love you. This person has given me kisses, so I give them back. Thank you, my dear. I'm smiling because of you, and because of Sunshine, and because of Miss Thompson, and all of you. You guys are so pleasant this Monday. I love that for us. Not late at all. Just smile. Who are you? You darling. All of this love, I feel almost overwhelmed. What did I do to deserve your presence here today? Are you a god? Have you descended in this earth realm to meet me here and give me joy? If so, I appreciate thee, and if not, I appreciate thee even more. Mr. B. Smith, I'm having an even better day because of you. So before I let you guys charm me out of my brassiere, I shall continue with love to Australia from Florida, my dear Mr. B. Smith. Humans have not been able to synthesize certain mysteries and information surrounding them on purpose. There's no harmony in, because unhand me is one of my favorite phrases and I say it daily. A new romantic cycle has begun. Humanity is disjointed because we haven't been able to synthesize information. That's first and foremost. However, expect powerful change. There has come a day when actually the day is already upon us. The day is already upright when even what was hidden by darkness will still shine forth, letting me know that certain truths are still hidden to this day, to this mother sucking day. However, you're not late, Phoenix. You're not late at all. I was speaking about Angel's Milky Way asking me in my email if I can look into whether space or the way you get out of the Earth's atmosphere is through space or under the waters. And so I told her that I would look into it, and here we are today. So far, the oracle said that we haven't been able to synthesize information surrounding certain mysteries for a reason. It's disjointed for a reason. This tells me, despite in the current age, a large piece of our evolutionary puzzle is still hidden. However, being eclipsed, still being able to shine forth and shine through in this Aquarian age of information and technology and freedom of humanity. It is ordained that the truth will still make its way out of the cracks and crevices of whatever obstructions are put in its place. Adjustments are required. I have said before, when I have given a free gem to the powers that be, even though they owe me the 40 million billion reparation fee for crimes against humanity, for any consultation advice, I still have told them in the past, all of your attempts to evade the Earth atmosphere and the process of death that keeps us bound to it will fail. They will fail. It seems that they try to go outer space because that seems to be the easier route. Under the sea might be the only route. But when they try, they fail. They say that the sea is largely still a mystery to the most brilliant of minds. Now, whether I believe that, I don't. I believe that up top, it's not a mystery. But as it trickles down to lower parts of the hierarchy, then I believe it becomes a mystery. However, up top, I believe that they know, but there's that hope. There's that hope that they can find that easy way out through the space. But no, that's why they haven't been able to successfully colonize the other planets as they so desire to do. They can put their space stations and satellites up into the atmosphere, but whether they're really grounded on any other planet or luminary, I'm not quite sure. That's what the oracles say so far. The oracles say the adjustment is required is to go the place where you can't go. If they want out of space, then they do have to adjust how they're going about things. And how do they do that? Well, stop trying to take the easy route. Go ahead. Continue to pool your resources and go under the sea. You know that's the way to go. But you also know that's the way you can't go. So we all have hope. Us poor and meek and meager and the elites. We we have hope to one day wear the chains that they wear, that they call Dior and Gucci and wealth. And their desire is to evade them because they know the vanity and emptiness of it all. They know that the true wealth is freedom of the soul. And only the poor seeks liberation through material means. They know that much, which is why they make sure that you spend all of your humanities seeking it, even sacrificing for it. Oh, look at JD. You are the light that shines through the darkness that tries to keep the truth back. Your mind and your curiosities are the light. Let them shine through and don't let anybody dim your light. Sometimes children are so bright because their minds haven't been indoctrinated that they intimidate the adults who they ask the questions to because the adults don't have logical answers to it. So then we tell the child some fairy tale or give them some answer and we give the excuse, oh, they're children. They don't understand. No, 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 no. Adults do that because they don't understand and cannot give the child an answer that will make sense to them. And so we give them fairy tales and say, well, if I had tried to answer it, they wouldn't understand because they're just a child. But the thought was in their mind in the first place. They sought an answer because the thought was there. So how can we say is the way to escape the Earth's atmosphere through space in the skies or through pressurized water? Under the sea, under the sea, under the sea, under the sea. Something in sitter. Down where it's wetter. Under the sea. Now, I titled this As Above and Below because of the statement in Genesis. As above, so below. Now, here, they will tell you that that means whatever happens in space happens here on Earth. However, we can only truly confirm for a fact life on the Earth and life under the sea. So maybe the as above that they speak of is here, and under the sea is the literal so below. Maybe it isn't as above. a phone call intrusion, meaning heavens and sky and under the sea, but maybe we are already in the as above and the so below. It's the only mirror that we can confirm. Life here on earth and life under the sea. I'm just, that's my childlike mind. Deducing facts. Eden Lasigo, if that's how I pronounce your name. I'm from Eden. You've never been? Ah, it's hard to find, but I can take you there. Is the way out of the Earth's atmosphere outer space or under the sea? Is it the way that we've been told and shown, or is it the way that they avoid? Speaking of being from Eden, I am. Man was placed in the garden to till it. It seems as though man was placed in the as above. I believe earth is the as above that we have been told is a heavenly realm, at least in this aspect, meaning outer space. Into the heavens we go where the planets and that's where God is, up here. And the as above is heaven, and then the mirrored image is hell, so below. Maybe. But when it comes to leaving the Earth's atmosphere, I believe that we're already sitting on top of it, meaning in whatever heavenly realm we believed, I believe that we're there. And I believe that the failed attempts that we have been given to go outer space is because there is evidence that the route is more difficult. I believe that they've tried many times. Angel, this is for you. So glad you're in here. We're discussing this because of you. This is man placed in the garden to till it. But then, as we know, contemplation, knowing, knowledge, and we don't have to go through the whole story of Adam and Eve, but knowledge, enlightenment of one's nature and nature itself. Welcome, Miss Thompson, and I love you too. M2DZ. Knowledge came in, and then we began to ponder. Man began to ponder itself. It began to ponder this place that it had been placed in. It began to ponder the purpose that it was given to till it and manage it and oversee it. It began to ponder the instructions that the beings from the sea gave it on how to manage this realm. And then it began to wonder about the sea and the life that was in it and why it was so wise enough to be able to come and enlighten it on how to be human. That is where the curiosity to explore came in. Man, in its first awareness, became aware that there was a force that might have some interference in it. Might be a force, might be something out there more intelligent, more wise. And man began to say, well, why? Why should I be subject to someone more wise than me? I will seek to answer all those questions and find the source of that wisdom and challenge it. Man seems to have been attempting to conquer the sea since its inception, making progress, but never reaching its goal, but never giving up. The challenge is, now I'm going to say to you all the story of Christ, but the challenge is the Christ energy, enlightenment that came from the tree in the garden that made man wise, enlightened. It began to ponder. It began to get curious and ponder. And that's all fine and dandy, but that's kind of the bad side about the fruit, the beauty of wisdom. You become aware of both good and evil. You become aware of good potential, bad potential. And sometimes you don't fully know where that line is drawn. Sometimes, in quest of knowing, becoming all knowing, because that is our genuine potential as human beings, to eventually return back to the all knowing source that we came from. However, sometimes in our ambitions to do that the quick way, we cross that line between good and evil. Not worth it to you, Sahara, but that's relative. We don't all measure worth by the same scale. In the past, there were explorations and a concerted effort between certain ancient ruling families or dynasties and the modern man that came up conquering. While man, a certain elite man, while colonizing man, were out conquering and colonizing the world, gathering up its ancient wisdom resources, um, historical resources. They encountered the people that are very ancient and old and that have staked a claim on the world. And they said to those men, you have conquered and you have found many great things that would be harmful if humanity knew. If humanity knew these things that you have come to know, they said it will be uncontrollable. And then they told them this story about how bad it would be for the truth about humanity, nature, and all of that to be out. And then there came an agreement. If you protect these things from the whole of humanity, you will have power, dominion, and wealth over the world. You will be the kings of nations and the rulers and great wealthy political backers and entrepreneurs and billionaires. Your children's children's children will never know poverty. But there are certain facts about life, about the universe, about the world, about humanity itself that we have deemed can never be known to the masses. A pact, an agreement to contain knowledge that would answer so many questions that are left unanswered allegedly, and that will expedite the overall evolution of humanity. But then what benefit is it if the playing field were even to those who have deemed that it belongs to them? So after that came vast explorations throughout the waters. Because these ancient families, they're the ones deemed, they're the ones condemned and doomed. They're the ones who inherit the bulk of the judgment and a lot of the prophecies that are foretold. And so they're the ones who seeded the desire in the other elites to find a way out through the sea. They know that it is through the sea. So if this answers your question, Angel's Milky Way, I believe so. Sorry, someone was calling me. I keep getting phone calls and nobody's called me all day till I decided to go on live. Various sea explorations, but the problem is they encountered so many things. They encountered treasure, they encountered monsters and creatures. Sorry, someone was calling me and leaving a voicemail. I was saying, in their sea exploration, they encountered treasure. They encountered creatures that they've never seen before, scary monsters. They encountered so many things, but they also encountered a life form, not reptilian, not fishy. No, 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 no. What they would call aliens, the guardians of the realm, the guardians of the gate. And that is their biggest concern for under the water. Not the other creatures, not even the wealth, not the lives that are lost down there in the ancient ruins and civilizations. No, they are the biggest problem down there. Deep, 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 deeper than all these other things. To the deepest, deepest depths of the halls of Amenti. The guardians, they pose the problem. Hmm. Sure, no, it doesn't, and it does, and it doesn't. This was a request from one of my subscribers, Angel's Milky Way. She's there. She emailed me and asked me to inquire about if outer space is really achieved under the sea. Crowning the moon that rules the seas, the portal for the souls out of this earth realm, the moon, the luminary. Ironically, the sun rules the day, the moon rules the sea. Souls are incubated in bodies of waters called amniotic fluid, are they not? Do we not grow in our mother's womb, in the waters of our mother's belly? From a spirit to a human being, do we not go through that metamorphosis in our mother's womb? Even the active male force of creation takes place inside of the woman when the sperm and the egg unite and lets off that spark. Even the male force of creation takes place inside of the woman's womb. And then after, yes, men, I'm sorry, you've been lied to about being in control and women being your rib and us being underneath you when the original male force, the original electricity that created Adam, the atom of life, it's an electrical spark that happens in the womb between your wiggly sperm and that egg that already sat in a woman's garden. It's your sperm that goes and seeks out a fruit from the garden so that it can become a manifestation of life. And then the male goes from its mother's womb into a man in search of another womb to rest in. You can give me your what? Poverty sperm? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not in my garden. Not my well fertilized garden. Anyways, the mother of the sea, the portal. Maybe you go out of the sea and then through the moon. Maybe. Maybe. But the picture of the moon here has a face on it. Not in the sun does it have a face on it, but the moon. Only the moon, not the sun. But the moon has a face in it. Why? Ask yourselves why sometimes you see images of the moon with a face in it, like this. Looks like the divine face of God, doesn't it? It's the only picture that we have of a luminary with a face. That's actually, the eyes are closed, but the face is looking down towards creation. Because at a certain point, the Creator rested, right? It ceased its creative work. Eyes are closed, face towards its creation, because it was creating. Then it rested, but it's still there. And this moon, though, pulling on the tides of the sea, growing life on earth and under the sea, overseeing everything from the portal that we all seem to filter in and out of. Could this be anything else but the Creator and its face? And the moon, which is feminine. The face of the Creator and the feminine luminary, not the masculine one, but the feminine one. The one that gives birth to all life. Of course, the Creator would be there. That's how all of this exists. It had to be birthed from something. Thank you, Dr. Jonathan. I received that with Thanksgiving, and I appreciate your gift in exchange for mine. Whose face is that? Resting towards its creation. Look at our instincts here. The two dogs' instincts howling up at the moon, knowing something, being instinctively pulled towards it, being made up of 70% water, and having emotions that are even affected by the placement and the transit of the moon, by the phase of the moon. Every human, man and woman, we all instinctively have spiritual inclinations, instincts, senses that are not tangible. Those are under the dominion of the moon. That is the realm of God, the spiritual realm, the unseen. You can't quite put your finger on it, but I sense something. That sensing and that knowing comes from your Creator, and it will always be your compass in the darkness. Even when the truth is shrouded in darkness, when something doesn't feel right, sit well with you. Even with all the facts that they give us, then they tell us, well, man isn't intelligent enough to solve these mysteries. That just doesn't sit right, does it? Seeing all that we've achieved, that's what those dogs howling at the moon, your instincts saying, God, there has to be a mystery that we're still trying to figure out. That's why the face is in the moon, where the Creator sits, in the womb, the portal between life and death, between spirit realm and physical earth realm, the womb. The moon, the womb, the moon, the womb. Sound similar? Hmm. Hmm. And this is the missing link that keeps man in a sabotage state, unable to synthesize, because there is a man unable to understand its own nature and its inheritance and dominion. If we were able to synthesize ourselves in creation, because if we understood creation and even these mysteries of how you get out of space, above or below, then it would help you understand your own nature, flesh and spirit. Nature would tell you about your nature. If we had the truth, we would synthesize, harmonize, truthalize, realize, prophesize, open eyes, and all of those things. But no, man stays sabotaged, unable to reign. Because of mysteries that were actually uncovered in the days of Kemet, not Egypt, Kemet, and before that Chaldean, and then Kemet. All of that was uncovered then in the temples of Osiris, in the temples of Ra, in the temples of Maat. That's when the mysteries became synthesized for all humanity to enjoy. But what happened when the Grecians became Egyptians? Where is all the knowledge and wisdom of Kemet today? Where's all the knowledge of the Chaldeans today, but sealed up in halls and libraries of elites who can barely understand what I'm able to divine with my eyes closed. Oh dear. Mm. It's so much deeper than asking, is space in the sky or the way out of the Earth's atmosphere? It's so much deeper than that. What I see here is that that question would unlock the mystery of man, the mystery of man, the mystery of mankind, the mystery of you. And then you be angry. We be angry. I am trying to find a good way to say this. Virtues. 7 virtues, 7 deadly sins, 7 planets, 7 this, 7 that. But the key here is 7 virtues as above, the good, 7 deadly sins, so below, the bad. All of these are polarities within ourselves. We can be virtuous and display any of the 7 virtues, or we could cross that line into their sister sign, into their polarity, their shadow, and then become one of the 7 deadly sins. As above and so below there. Humanity is stuck in the shadow version of the 7 virtues. We're stuck not being able to overcome the 7 deadly sins, so to speak. That's the real damage of not telling the truth about everything, about how all of this really works. And then there's enmity against the woman species. Um, she has been Lilithified. Lilithified. Even the story of Eve and Lilith speaks of human polarity. But it seems that in order to keep the feminine energy, which is life itself, in a lower state, it had to demonize it. It had to make it seem like its power was really something bad because it actually should be feared. It's life and death at the same time. A man can't make the decision to birth a life from inside the womb into the world, and it can't make the decision to not birth a life. So the power of life and death is really in the woman and her choice to go through with seeing a pregnancy through or terminating it. That's the beginning and the end, the alpha and the omega. Because where you come from could also be your burial place before you even leave it. And only one person has the biological autonomy to make that decision. That's the woman. So the story of Lilith and Eve was created to give you guys an image of what to be as acceptable and what not to be as acceptable. And don't be this whorish version that's wild and untamed and no man would choose. You need to be a different version that's less powerful and submissive. But throughout history, the only people who were ever asked to submit to anything was slaves and women. Now, what do those two have in common? I'm sorry, man. I'm not saying that you guys aren't strong, powerful. I'm saying that you have villainized your polarity. There has been enmity with your polarity, and to be honest, with your creator. You've waged war with your creator. You don't have to worship a woman, but you do have to honor and appreciate her just as much as you honor and appreciate your own life. You've made war with God. Hopes and fears. There's a desire to keep a certain community very poor because there's a concern. I'm sorry also to the white power and to any other race. There is a concern that the next Messiah will come from the black delegation, as it did the first time, as it did in more recent times with Malcolm and all the other messiahs who came with a message of freedom for humanity. Black people always wonder why the whole world hates you. If you were more powerful in the Messiah, several Messiahs, because Messiahs come all the time, and then they're usually snuffed out. But if you're in a position of power and authority, economically, politically, and all of that, as a people, and we were as revolutionary as we are when we get on for a cause, if we were to take our cause and we were no longer fighting for our own equality and freedom, but now we take on the cause of fighting for everyone else's, that would be a problem. Doesn't matter though. Our attempts to escape via the skies will always land in them coming back down. Arrows shooting up, coming back down. Every single time. Every single time. You will never, ever, ever, ever escape until the Messiah community is restored. Even if it takes another 1,000 years, you cannot escape until nature is restored. And because we have spent all of our human existence in the upside down, we've got it all upside down. They say the meek shall inherit the earth. I don't believe that that means that everybody that's poor will become rich. No, 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 no. That means something else, but I'm not going to go into that because I don't think I want to attract too many trolls tonight or enemies of the white delegation or any other race. But if it were to make you feel a way, if I were to say a thing, then maybe you're racist. If you can accept that the freedom and change that is required to free humanity could only come from the people that already display that energy now and has historically. There's only been one people historically. And if they were not fighting for their own lives, if they were okay, then they would be fighting for all of us to be free from taxation and theft and all of the other crimes of humanity that enslave all of us now. That's what we would be doing. It's our nature as saviors. Sure, historically, it was your own people that sold you to other countries. I didn't say that all skin folk were kinfolk. And there's a lot that goes into that that you wouldn't understand. So stay out of godly business then and learn something instead of speaking out of emotion. That's why you'll never be saved, because you hate your Savior. You always shoot the messenger and then find out that she's bulletproof. Meal, deal, meal. Eight of Wands in reverse for their attempts to escape through the skies. How dreadful. And the people will just continue to, oh my gosh, what's going on? Another da 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 da, another plane falling from the sky, another unsuccessful rocket launch. But at this point, as I said the other day, the age of grace is gone because we're in the age of information. So you cannot apply ignorance anymore. I mean, you cannot apply grace anymore over ignorance when there is no more reason to be ignorant except for choice, which is why the age of grace gone. Believe what you want and shoot at the messenger like that man did before he got blocked if you choose. But whatever assignment I have in this life, I'm doing it. What are you going to do? A lot of people will still perish unevolved. And a lot of people will wish they can perish in the end days, like they say. Because the whole world is just so filled with fear right now, and nobody understands why we aren't getting our prayers answered for Jesus to come back and crack the sky and take us home. And that will continue for a time and times and still another time until the mystery is fulfilled. And I'll leave what that means a mystery and explain it to my members only because they pay for it. So that means they value what I do here. And my good old buddy, I shall not say his name because the last time one of this institution's minions came into my chat and said, did I think I was better? Now, why hasn't this institution disseminated any of this information when they have it in their libraries? It's their job. It's their job as the preacher of the world, Craig. The preacher of the world, the spiritual leader of the Western world, is supposed to tell us these things. Otherwise, if you don't have the answers, Craig, then why are you in charge of the girls? Why are you in charge of the girls and I'm not? If I'm telling the things. Baby girl, stop? Sure. I can just remove you so that you don't have to be in here anymore. Stop what? I should have asked you, what do you want me to stop? Telling truth or lies. And then I would have to pull a card or two and ask if I'm telling truth or lies. And then only one of us would be embarrassed. This institution is supposed to tell the people these things They're supposed to know. Why do you pay tithes if you can't go ask someone who has God's ear about these things? What are you paying for? What are you paying for? And what are you praying for in these institutions where they're supposed to tell you the things? Because they have the keys to the bottomless the keys to the bottomless pit. Yet doing the as above fingers over here and waving their authority on earth over here, yet having the keys to the bottomless pit. Crimes against humanity. Mm. Sitting right next. Hmm. The Hierophant. Do you guys know what this is called in traditional tarot decks? This card was originally called the Pope, and then they changed it to the Hierophant because I guess people were like outraged or something because of what this imagery tells. Power and dominion on earth, as above and so below, knowledge and wisdom, but yet the keys to the bottomless pit on his feet, what he stands on. But what do I know? It's just two cards. One's called the Pope and one called Injustice. Just calling out historical meanings of picture cards. That's it. Those are the historical meanings. Justice in reverse is an injustice. This card was originally called the Pope and it became the Hierophant, but the imagery is still the same. But what am I doing successfully here? Half naked in my robe. Without a care in the world about patrols. Oh dear. In the past, the Three of Pentacles, that was the pact to keep humanity locked down. And only a few would benefit from this situation. So they lied to you when they said we all can pull ourselves from the bootstraps. They lied when they said we all can be wealthy if we work hard enough. Go to college, marry, get a husband, a 401k, life insurance, retirement plan, a doctorate degree in case your associates and bachelors didn't get the job done. Several side hustles, a business, and kids so that you can get all kinds of extra stuff on your taxes. That'll get you rich. Start a business. Struggle for the first 10 years. On the 11th year, you hit gold. Sell that business. Flip, rinse, wash, and repeat. Buy some properties. Pay your property taxes, though. Pray to God for no eminent domain. Flip a couple of those. Move that money around. You can be rich like me, too. And then debt and debt and debt and debt and debt and debt later. Here we are. Degrees and making minimum wage. People got master's degrees and are door dashing. Two income households. And the average household median number keeps rising every year. Just when you make that goal. Listen, but not yet, not quite, because now you got to double that up to be comfortable. Dr. Daniel can't even relax because when he leaves surgery, he has to go DoorDash because he's got over $150,000 worth of student loan debt. And the hospital's got all this technology now doing the doctor's job. So they're not paging Dr. Doolittle that much anymore because the machine does most of it. But no, all of us can do it. It's actually really easy if you just do that, right? This is the pact a long time ago. Let's look into it. Oh, and don't forget to vote. So that when you pray and you ask God to help you, God will say, well, what can I do? You signed your name to a system that picks your leader for you. So I can't intervene with your free will and your consent. I'd like to help, but I work on free will and consent. So if you gave yours because they said they were going to fix all your problems, when I said that you were sovereign on your own, my hands are tied, buddy. But I got these prophecies here to tell you what's going to happen if you do it. It's the best I can do. The pact between the families of the ancients, right? The ones who didn't listen to God when God said, don't hump the humans. What you're going to create is not what I had in mind. They're going to fuck shit up. They're going to realize that they can't die. They have no release from their death because they're not anything I created. And then they're going to hate the humans that they live with. And then they're going to start a war with the humans because, unlike them, the humans can pass away and get free from this thing, but they can't because your nature is your nature and the human's nature is the human's nature. And whatever you create, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm not going to take it when it releases from its body. So it will never release from its body. And if it does, it will go. It will cease to exist. I only take what's mine. And you did not create the universe, so you don't have a place to receive your offspring. So they're stuck, trying not to die so that they don't cease to exist. So they just stay here, generation after generation on earth, with their offspring that usually, anyways, those offspring, they're still around. You know them. You know lots of them. They decided the children of those who were not supposed to hump the humans, and they humped them anyways and then created something else. They decided to enslave and oppress man. Because the thing is, man wouldn't know the difference between us and them because we look like them. So if they think that they're just trusting the word of their fellow man, they'll follow us into their own slavery. Because how can they tell if it's one of us or one of them when we kind of look alike, except we have a lighter skin, we have a certain eye color that's unique, and a certain hair color that's unique, certain genetic DNA and biological mutations that pop up as we evolve are markers as well, but there's a way to tell them. And besides their appearance, you can usually tell by their position. Born billionaires, die billionaires. Positions over World Health Organizations and immunizations, colonizations, economies, world religions, nations. They rule all of those. All aspects of humanity, you'll find them there at the tippy tippy top. Enslaving mankind who was actually created to be unfuckwittable. Supposed to be unenslavable. But the only way you can trick them is by infiltrating them. That's the one benefit that came out of us falling, humping these humans and creating with them and then getting punished, our offspring getting punished. Because we still have a certain nature. We have to watch our offspring cease to exist if they die. So the best they can do is try to live and live and live forever until a generation where their offspring have enough technology to try to evade that death cycle. So if we can just escape dying and shoot our way out, then we don't have to live out that judgment that our nature brought upon us. Problem is, though, they've been failing because the only way to go is down below. But what's down there? Maybe angels with flaming swords that say no. Much, much, much powerful than their kind. They had not even known that they existed when they were in their parents never told them. When they were telling them what it was like up in the heavenly realms, they never told them about those things under the sea, but they didn't even know. Why would the Creator tell all of its creations everything? Not everybody needs to know. They're scared of under the water. Scaredy, scaredy, scaredy. Oh gosh, this is funny. Let me look at the humans who are otherwise supposed to not be slaveable. We're not created to be under the dominion of these I'm going to call them destiny swappers. And look at this. The Divine Mother, the Earthborn. You see, the Creator said, do not stick your heavenly wand in one of these earth women, as beautiful as they are. Why? Because they have the power to create like I do, because I gave it to them. So if you hump them, they have the power to create something on their own that will be of a nature that I did not ordain. I told them to hump the man and create in their likeness and in their own image. Do not stick your ethereal angelic wand in the earth woman. And what the fuck did they do? Enter those unsanctioned relationships and then created something new, a new form of DNA, a new species. So in their DNA, in their blood type, or in their DNA chain, you will be able to tell the difference between them and someone like me. Blood types, DNA, cell stuff. I mean, we know who they are. They're the ones who enslaved the human because they decided that they didn't like the human because the human can return back to its ethereal spiritual state. Just like their parents, their original ancestors, the ones who slept with the women that weren't supposed to. We can do that. We can return. We can die and then go back to another body. And we can rinse, wash, and repeat until we evolve enough to know our fucking place and our nature and how to tell these suckers to your lies and fallacies. I know who I am, and it's not underneath you. And yes, you can torment us for a while because I live here, and the majority of humanity doesn't know these things. So there's a little bit of torment and torture that us on this life will have to endure until mankind wakes up and we can uprise together. For now, the powers that be are powers that being, and the best we can do is practice wisdom. And these days, that shit ain't free. Questions, concerns? Angels Milky Way, I'm so glad that you asked me to do this reading, my dear. I hope I answered your question. I sure answered some of mine. And I can't say I did. Thank you, Spirit, for answering some of mine. Spirit, what say you about the message that was pronounced here on this live today? What say you? One card, please. Is this message hogwash? Lies from the pits of my belly? The pits of my hungry belly that might be confused and delirious due to the hunger? Because I ain't ate all day. Thank you, King Eric's. Bless you too, my love. Don't take that back. I saw it already, and I receive it. Was this message hogwash? I would like the justice in reverse. If I have done the Creator and its creation injustice, I surely have not intended to, but I'm open to correction. In front of all of these people, one card. Have I intentionally misled these people down a path of confusion or delirium? In fact, this card means I said what I motherfucking said. It also means something else, but I won't say it. It means that maybe I'll be challenged. Maybe I have been challenged. You guys know how difficult it's been for me to carry out full lives without getting disconnected. But those are the challenges coming up at me. This is me with my wand. Sit your butt down. And I may have on mismatched shoes because I was just trying to do my business, and I was just minding my business, and then up came the wands. And I have to continue to with the truths. With the truth. Here I am, standing in the sun, the little naked baby. I'm innocent. I ain't mean no harm. I promise. See? Look. Don't we look the same? Now, there's a luminary here, but the eyes are open. Because when God was creating, it was in its masculine energy. Creating an action is a masculine force. Eyes open. Creating new humans and new life. I'm only giving witness and bearing witness of the story of creation. Here, look. See? I don't mean no harm. I'm only standing up for the attested story, not truth, because then people can sue me. Standing up for the much challenged and attested story of the cradle of humanity and of heaven and earth. Oh, the Eight of Swords in reverse. Here, all this information was keeping us blind, even though we were standing on the truth, which happened to be water the whole time. And now, the swords have fallen. The truth is that the water is above and not below. The water is the way out. with this card in reverse. The water is on top, and the swords, the facts that we've been indoctrinated with, are below in this card. I did not lie to you all. I did not give you hogwash. In fact, they say, keep going, girl. But no, because this knight has a coin in his hand. Spirit say this is what she usually gives to her members. But Spirit wanted me to do this publicly. This is something I would have only done on my members live because I save wisdom for them. That shit ain't free no more. Grace is gone. And I was told to not be so gracious anymore, because how can my judgments be carried out on those who had the opportunity to value the truth when it was free? But they wanted to believe lies and traditions and get along with humanity instead of standing out and standing on their senses, their intuitions that were howling. Something about everything that I've known and been taught is not right. But I'm going to keep my head buried under the sand and hope that somebody else comes and figures this out. That's why I go to church and pay my tithes, so my pastor can tell me. But then all these years and generations of paying tithes, and nobody said, you know what? We figured it out. All the tithes that you gave us, instead of keeping the lights on, we paid for research. Because we should not, for over 100 years, be still going over the same Psalms and Proverbs. Whole sermons on the same stuff. Every generation just re-indoctrinating every generation. And nobody said, alas, wisdom is found. Mysteries that we've been praying and seeking to understand. Finally, nobody? So y'all just paying to keep these buildings lights on so y'all can have somewhere and pretend like you're getting yourself together? What have you learned any different from the generations previous to you that has helped you evolve beyond what your ancestors did? Have you learned how to overcome sin? Y'all can't even stop fucking each other and giving each other STDs. Talking about don't judge me. Y'all giving each other STDs intentionally. I promise you. I be seeing y'all talking about popping Plan Bs and all that stuff. Forget the STDs. Y'all be giving y'all be humping on each other and giving each other STDs on purpose. And y'all talking about only God can judge. Do you not feel the burn in your hell regions and your down below? That is the judgment. They said hell was hot and full of torment. And according to the statistics from the doctor's office and the clinics, that is what is going on in the underworld regions of y'all bodies. It is weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth down there. I mean, that's why I got no man, and that's why ain't nobody humped me in over 365 days of the year. Because I went there and I realized it was weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth down there. And I said, hell to the no, I'm an angel and I believe I belong in the Garden of Eden. So until another God approaches me that is not overcome the fiery pits of hell and risen from the ashes of hell and damnation, I will not. I can rise above my sin and my pleasures and my desires. Yes, I want to hunch. No, I don't want to hunch y'all that bad. Y'all hurting each other on purpose. Yes, you cute. I would if I could, but I ain't because I can't. Walking around here with hell and damnation in your drawers, talking about I'm going to church and paying tithes. For what? You need to be going and paying for a prescription instead of a scripture. A prescription. That's what you need. A prescription. When your pastor find out how to prescribe you with a prescription, then I'll donate personally to that institution. Because that's what y'all need. How y'all been paying tithes and sitting up in church all this time and look at the STD rates. How they just steady climbing. How is they climbing? And y'all be in church paying tithes. And the pastor is telling you the way to go. Telling you the things that you, giving you a word from God. Nowhere in that word did he not say, wrap it up. It's monsters out there. It's hell in they draws. The weeping and moaning and gnashing of teeth is in the draws. You mean to tell me y'all paying good money every week for them to not tell you where hell was? For them to not tell you that the way out of this world ain't in space but under the water? Your pastor ain't told you that. I feel like I should charge some tithes. Because if that's what y'all pay tithes for, I feel like I deserve tithes, right? I deserve it. Did I not just preach? Did somebody not ask me a universal mystery? And did I not just reach into my spiritual bag and pull it out and then ask the Spirit to show if I was lying and give me justice in reverse? And what did I get? The fucking sun. How can the sun be a liar? Standing, can y'all not clock that I'm standing on business right now? And I deserve a tithe. If y'all gonna pay Bishop Holy Draws, then y'all can listen. I ain't begging, I'm just saying maybe I deserve. I kid. No, I'm for real, I kid. Anyways, questions, concerns, comments before I slide on out to my members live, because we got some more cutting up and carrying on to do. How many souls y'all got walking around in your drawers and y'all own fiery pits of and just like that, now the souls, meaning the bodies that you've been walking around with, can be free because now you know the truth. And now y'all ain't gonna be walking around collecting souls in your fiery pits of hell anymore. Because now the Messiah has come and has opened and unchained, okay, unlocked the gates of hell and set the captives free. Because now you know that hell was in your holy drawers. I mean, if heaven is there, ain't life and death and the power? I just told y'all that. So y'all thought I was playing, but literally, hell is in your drawers. Heaven is in your mind. Your lower nature, the desires you can't control, usually get you caught up with stuff. And these days, you be marked permanently. STDs that follow you for the rest of your life. That means if somebody goes into you, they could be marked as well, like with something incurable. I'm sorry, but that sounds like exactly what they were describing to me. Days where sexual immortality, because sex is also the act that God used or that God told humans to do to procreate. So wouldn't it also be the same act used to destroy the same thing that was created? If power of life and death are one of the same, then the same act that causes life, including spiritual life, can also cause spiritual death. But nobody likes to have these conversations about sex because not too many of us have enough discipline to be more choosy with it. But I'm telling you, you've heard the truth today. So after today, there is no more grace. Y'all done fucked around and stumbled up on this live for entertainment. And now I done kicked the ball in your court and taken away your grace. Amen. Because I was born without it. Because of this stuff that I'm doing right now, I never really had it. It's been a hard knock life. But that's why I can say that because you have joined this live and you've heard these words, especially what I said about sex, if it was the act that is used to create life and sustain humanity on this earth, then its shadow side would also be the destroyer. Abaddon, the destroyer that consumes. I just lost 2 viewers. They said, "Let me get the fuck out of here before she says something else that's gonna make me accountable for my actions." Love you guys. See my members in my members live.